Welcome, everyone, to Weekend Wisdom by Creating a Family. This is our opportunity to answer your questions. So, everyone, send us your questions. You can send us your questions at info@creatingafamily.org, or there's a link in the show notes, and you can click on that to send them. We'll get them either way. And we'll take about, 5-10 minutes to answer your questions. So today we have someone else other than me answering your questions. We have Tracy Whitney. Tracy has been with Creating a Family for 9 years. I'm blown away every time I think about that, Tracy. Tracy is here because she and I are going to start sharing the Weekend Wisdom duty. And that's because at some point in 2025, I am going to be retiring and Tracy will be taking my place. So send us your questions and you will get either me or Tracy. And take it away, Tracy, today. What is the question? And share with us your wisdom.
Thanks for having me, Dawn. So today we're going to be talking about what adopted children call their birth parents. And our question comes from Rochester, New York. Hello, my husband and I are in the process of growing our family through adoption. It would be a domestic infant adoption, and we are hoping to cultivate a long-term relationship with the future baby's birth family. I noticed that anytime I feel hesitation when thinking about openness, I can bring myself back down to earth by recognizing that my hesitation is a result of me making things about me and not the baby or its birth family. The one question I can't seem to navigate on my own is this: what do adopted children call their birth mothers? How do I, as an adoptive mom, refer to baby's birth mom? I want to be respectful of baby and birth mom, so any insight on how families handle this would be so helpful. Thank you for all that you do and your guests do to provide education and insight. Well, Rochester, New York, thank you so much for your question and for your very kind words about our work. Hearing that from our listeners is the fuel in the tank that keeps us on our mission. I want to start by saying how much I appreciate the thoughtful and intentional way that you're approaching the whole idea of a relationship with your future child's birth family. I also deeply resonate with the self-awareness that your hesitation about openness is about you making this about you. Trust me when I say that this self-reflection is a great tool that you will appreciate when you are in the thick of adoptive parenting down the road. As to your question about what adopted kids call their birth mothers, I have to say that I don't think this is going to be quite the answer you're looking for. But in my experience with the many different family members and the many different members of the adoption constellation in the Creating a Family Facebook group, it seems like every family has their own way of answering this one question. So when adoption involves some level of openness, such as domestic infant adoption or foster care adoption, we quite often hear about kids calling their birth moms by their first names, like Jane. Some variations of that would be like Mommy Jane or Mama Jane, Auntie Jane, even some people go by. I would also expect that asking the expectant mom if you are building this relationship with her would be a way to take her preferences into consideration, and it would communicate deep respect and honor for her place in this child's life. When you are raising a child who is not in contact with birth parents or the birth parents are unknown, such as a situation like international adoption, the kids are more apt to use a more generic term like my bio mom or my birth mom. Sometimes families through international adoption add the country of origin to the mommy label, landing on China mom or Colombia mommy. How you refer to your child's birth mother will also depend on whom you are speaking to. For example, if you're talking with your child and your immediate family, it's likely that you will end up calling her Jane or Mommy Jane, especially if the child's within listening distance. But if you're speaking with extended circles or acquaintances, or like the school office when you go to enroll them for kindergarten or something like that, referring to her as my child's birth mother or Johnny's birth mom is pretty much the norm. Of course, some families develop their own cute little nicknames or shorthand for their children's birth parents. And while we would never say that this is absolutely right or absolutely wrong, we do recommend that you get the birth mother's buy-in to something like that before settling on it. And sometimes, just like the efforts of picking a grandma name, which I just recently had to do, you get whatever comes out of the baby's mouth, and that's what sticks. So, the bottom line to all of this is that it's useful to hear what other families are doing, but it's our best recommendation that you have a conversation with the expectant mom before the baby is born and feel her out on the topic. See what is comfortable for her, what she prefers, especially if you're all already working towards a long-term, sustainable, and open-hearted relationship. You can significantly communicate how you respect and honor her when you do so.
Thank you, Tracy. And you guys are going to hear more from Tracy as time goes on. And before you go, let me ask you a favor. We would love to have you first either follow or subscribe, depending on what the app you're using calls it, to the Creating a Family podcast. And if you subscribe to the Creating a Family podcast, you will be getting Weekend Wisdom in your feed. So please do that. But we would also love to have you rate us. And if you're feeling particularly generous, we would love to have you give us a written review. That would be even better. But we'll settle for a 5-star rating. Please do that. We really would appreciate it. And thanks for listening to this week's Weekend Wisdom. If you liked it, please tell a friend to subscribe to the creatingafamily.org podcast. And we will see you next week.